Assalamualaikum and hi. In this video, we will be presenting about ozone pollution.
Many human acts have give bad effects to environment, and ozone pollution is one of them. Ozone is made up by 3 oxygen atoms, and there are 2 layers in atmosphere, which are stratosphere and also troposphere. In last decade, high concentration of ozone has been found in western US. It is happen when the temperature are more than 0 Celsius. It is generated including nitrous oxide, volatile organic compound, and also carbon dioxide.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum. My name is MOHMAD and next I will present about the source of ozone pollution. Alright, the first one is chlorofluorocarbon. Chlorofluorocarbon are chemical that composed of carbon, fluorine and chlorine atoms. And these are atoms belong to the hydrocarbon group, which is group of toxic and flammable gas. And they originated for the first time in 1928 as an alternative to the various chemicals used in refrigerators. And they are then used as stimulated in pesticide, paint, hair conditioner and other hair care products. And they are then between the 50 and 60 centuries, the chlorofluorocarbon are used as a coolant for the homes, car and the office. And all of this use caused the chlorofluorocarbon to expand globally and each reach a level of being used an aerosol and a coolant for blowing agent and packaging material. And as with its use, the impact of the ozone layer increased enormously in each of time. And chlorofluorocarbon will make a reaction, which is the two reaction will convert the ozone into regular oxygen gas when atom of chlorine atom occur. And based on that, the chlorine atom react with the ozone to the production of chlorine oxide and the oxygen gas. And as the result, the chlorine oxide will react with the oxygen atom and will produce the chlorine atoms and oxygen gas. And this reaction will occur continuously and causes the ozone layer to thin and result in ultraviolet radiation entering the Earth's space in large quantities. Alright, apart from the chlorofluorocarbon, nitrogen oxide also a source of ozone pollution, and a high temperature combustion event involve the formation of nitrogen oxide when oxygen and nitrogen interact. And this is the case in car engines and electric fuel plant. And the SN motor generated large amount of nitrogen oxide, and this is because of the combustion fuel such a high operating pressure and temperature compared with the petrol engine. And nitrogen oxide gas has an important role in the fog formation, which is frequently seen in cities, especially in summer, to create a brown haze. And if a UV ray are exposed in the sun, the molecule of nitrogen oxide will break down and become the ozone. And the presence of the organic compound, which is the VOC, in the atmosphere, which is also will interact with the nitrogen oxide and form the harmful molecule, is adding to the concern in this problem. Lower ozone is a serious pollutant, unlike the higher atmosphere protective ozone layer. Alright, lastly is carbon monoxide from the combustion of fossil fuels is one of the causes of the ozone pollution. Carbon monoxide is one of them ozone former that are very influential of the process of ozone formation in the atmosphere. And carbon monoxide and ozone are the two keys in photochemical system in the atmosphere bottom, which is the surface. And about 70% of chemical oxygen in the atmosphere react with the carbon monoxide. And carbon monoxide react with the hydrogen radical in the atmosphere. Hydrogen radical play a major role as an atmospheric clean agent to remove the air pollutant or greenhouse gases, especially methane, from the atmosphere. And when there are no nitrogen oxide in the atmosphere, then the reaction will run toward the decomposition of ozone, with the other reaction occur between the carbon monoxide with oxygen and will produce a carbon dioxide and oxygen. And when there are nitrogen oxide in the atmosphere, the reaction will working toward the formation of ozone, and this matter causing the ozone concentration at the surface increase. Then the overall reaction occur between the carbon monoxide with oxygen and will produce the carbon dioxide and trioxygen. And based on the reaction, it can be expected that the increase in the carbon monoxide concentration on the surface causes the emission anthropogenicity will increase the concentration surface ozone, which is polluted with the presence of the ozone precursor, especially the nitrogen oxide.
Next, we move to the effect of ozone pollution. One of the effects on our health can cause adverse respiratory problems. People who suffer from asthma, although adult, people who commonly do outdoor activities, and children will be at risk. They are exposed to the ozone layer that can cause lung disease such as chronic bronchitis and emphysema. The effects can be more severe for those who suffer from lung disease but not excluded for healthy people. Therefore, the air quality standard is already over the limits and people are often exposed to ozone, which is a toxic gas. Furthermore, ozone can harm vegetation and ecosystems such as forests and parks. This is important for the plant because the process of photosynthesis will be reduced and the growth of the plant will be slow. This happens when the ozone prevents the plant from opening the microscopic pores on the leaf to breathe. It also enlarges the risk of native plants by disease, harmed by insect, unpredictable weather, and causing plague of other pollutants. Sometimes, the marks will appear on the leaf when exposed to ozone. Hence, the earth will lose species diversity when of the lack of variety of fish, insects, plants, and animals. Lastly, climate change is also affected by ozone pollution. A higher concentration of ozone can raise the temperature and result in bad air quality. There are significant losses of ozone in the lower atmosphere that are caused by human activities. Climate change happens when the carbon dioxide increases in the atmosphere. The sea levels and precipitation will increase when the climate happens. The National Center for Atmospheric Science Research said that it is necessary to acknowledge climate change to predict extreme weather in the future. This indicates that human acts like combustion, fossil fuel, which emit greenhouse gases, cause pollution.
Putting, reducing and removing nitrogen oxide emissions on stationary and mobile vehicle sources through NOx oxidation. It can be done by using a catalyst, injecting hydrogen peroxide, producing ozone throughout the airflow, or injecting ozone into the airflow. This method intentionally lowers up the valence of the nitrogen ion to let the water absorb it. Another method to handle nitrogen oxide discharge is by altering the combustion state to produce lower NOx, such as selective catalytic reduction (SCR) that uses ammonia and fuel reburning (FR). This process is chemically reduced by the elimination of oxygen from NOx. The choice of fuel also can change to natural gas. Data stated by Kermisinov proved that natural gas can release 60% below coal and effectively no sulfur dioxide and no particulate matter. Is that apply by driving smart less idling. As stated by the United States Department of Energy, the way to reduce idling is by drive-through windows. Statistics prove that idling more than 10 seconds uses fuel and discharge more carbon dioxide than restarting the engine. To reduce the idling, turn off the key when stopped for 10 seconds or more, except in traffic. Other countries should make United States as an example, as in the United States, they already apply that idling is illegal and can be charged to a fine. Some of it is in Hawaii, New Jersey, and New York City. Anti-idling signs need to be spread by putting a signboard outside the school, since it is a common place where we can see that school buses and parents idling while waiting for students. Next is by driving less. To limit driving, the government needs to encourage people to use public transportation more. By using public transportation, it can lessen greenhouse gas emissions that lead to ozone depletion. Data prove that averagely 85% of transportation sector discharge are connected to the surface transportation system. By reducing the development of vehicle miles of travel, easing traffic jam, and supporting more systematic land use patterns, public transportation can lower the unhealthy carbon dioxide releases by 37 million metric tons yearly. A report has been published by the American Public Transportation Association that public transportation also can lessen traffic jam. Public transportation agencies can also innovate their operations to minimize the greenhouse gas intensity produced, such as building a LEED certified maintenance facility with fuel cell units, rooftop solar, or natural lighting like New York City Transit will. Lastly, use products that are air-friendly or called ozone-friendly. Buy products that mark CFC-free, especially in these products like aerosol spray cans, refrigerators, and fire extinguishers. Try to avoid using products that contain halons or CFCs. The government needs to help promote the product that have free CFCs and spread the bad effect of CFCs toward the ozone layer. For example, in Japan, their government agencies are constrained to use PFCs products, followed by the law concerning the promotion of procurement of eco-friendly goods and services by the state and other entities. Other countries also need to emulate how Japan does to preserve the ozone layer.
In conclusion, throughout the years, vigorous human activities have affected ozone layer, giving many bad effects to living things and making ozone pollution is one of the worldwide health hazards. It was recorded in 2015 that the ambient air quality reduced from 75 to 17 ppm in daily max ozone. One of the sources that make our ozone pollution worse is the wide use of chlorofluorocarbon (CFC). CFC can be found in healthcare products, aerosols, and air conditioner. Apart from CFC, nitrogen oxide and carbon monoxide also contribute in worsening our ozone pollution. Last but not least, the fewer amounts of forest also contribute to ozone pollution because forest function is to absorb carbon dioxide and supply oxygen to the earth. Effects to living things that make ozone pollution is one of the worldwide health hazards are causing adverse respiratory problems, and it is more deadly to children, older people, people who enjoy doing outdoor activities, and clearly bad to people who already have lung disease such as asthma. Other than affecting living things, ozone pollution also affects our climate and nature. If humans do not control their activities, Earth will lose a lot of species diversity such as fish, plants, insects, and animals. Control measures that can be taken into action to save our Earth from ozone pollution is reducing the emissions of nitrogen oxides to the air. Reducing the nitrogen oxides to the air includes controlling the amount of vehicles on the road, injecting hydrogen peroxide, using selective catalytic reduction (SCR), changing to natural gases, reducing idling, and finally driving less. Apart from all of that, Using products without chlorofluorocarbon, CFC, also help to preserve our Earth from ozone pollution. Last but not least, the concern regarding ozone pollution should be taken into action by identifying the sources and the effect on both living things and Earth. Throughout the sources and the effect, the control measures can be highlighted and the steps to prevent and reduce ozone pollution can be taken. Thank you, that's all from us.